A restless flutter stirred in my heart. A quiet warning that something wasn't right. It's always that faint shift, like a shadow of mistrust, that marks the beginning, isn't it? Her voice softened in a way that caught my attention when she mentioned, "I'm meeting a friend for lunch." The tenderness stood out, unfamiliar against the familiar bite of her usual tone, which I thought love and years had smoothed. Emily and I had woven 8 years of marriage together. 8 years of tranquil coffee mornings, whispered dreams in the night, and the deep connection of truly understanding each other. I believed our bond was solid, unbreakable. Yes, we had our quarrels, but who doesn't? I brushed them off as the ordinary wear of a shared life. That was until I caught sight of a late-night message on her phone, left casually on the sofa beside me. Still thinking about today. The number wasn't one I recognized. When I asked, her laugh wavered, unconvincing. "Just the girls' group chat, you know how it is." I nodded, letting it slide, but that night, lying next to her, staring into the void of the ceiling, a sinking certainty gripped me. Something was terribly amiss. As weeks drifted by, her lunch outings multiplied, her explanations growing hazier. The unease clung to me, unshakable, so I did something I never thought I'd do. One day, when she left her phone unguarded, I scrolled through it. The messages I uncovered weren't merely suggestive, they were unmistakable. Her friend was Daniel, a man. Their conversations revealed lunches that were anything but casual. A surge of sickness washed over me, followed by a blaze of rage and the crushing weight of betrayal. My Emily, my life's partner, was caught in an affair. Worse, their words held an emotional intimacy, the kind we once cherished, the kind I thought was still ours alone. For a week, I carried this secret, torn between confronting her, leaving quietly, or demanding the truth. I chose none of those paths. Instead, I embarked on a course I'd never considered before, driven by careful calculation. I began with investigation. A few searches on social media unveiled Daniel as a co-worker, a sales representative from a project she'd collaborated on. He was married. His wife, Sarah, appeared online. A small woman with kind eyes and 2 young children. My heart broke for her, but my determination held firm. The plan took shape swiftly. I enlisted a private investigator named Jack, a blunt man with a lined face and a straightforward approach. His photographs confirmed my darkest suspicions. Images of Emily and Daniel exiting a hotel, their arms brushing, their faces alight with shared joy. One picture caught them kissing in her car. The proof was raw, irrefutable. Next, I reached out to Sarah. My message was blunt. "Hello, Sarah. This is hard to share, but I believe your husband, Daniel, is involved with my wife, Emily. I've attached evidence. I'm sorry to deliver this news." Her response arrived within an hour, a single sentence. "Thank you for telling me." The gears were turning, beyond my control now, but I had one last move to make. I wanted Emily to confront the full weight of her deception, to feel its gravity. So, I invited her to lunch. "Let's have a date," I said, mustering a warm smile. "Just the 2 of us, like we used to." She seemed relieved, even eager, perhaps thinking my warmth meant I was clueless. She didn't sense the storm gathering. On the day of the lunch, I prepared with care. A crisp tablecloth, our finest silverware, and 2 glasses of wine. It looked like a romantic gesture, but it was a carefully set stage, and the centerpiece wasn't flowers. It was a manila envelope filled with Jack's evidence. Emily walked in, her face glowing from what she said was a work lunch. Her smile wavered when she saw the table, her eyes darting to the envelope. "What's this?" she asked, her voice shaky. I didn't answer, only gestured for her to sit. She did, cautiously, her earlier ease fading. I slid the envelope toward her. "Open it," I said. Her hands shook as she pulled out the photos and printed messages. "I can explain," she stammered, but her words lacked conviction. "Explain," I said, leaning back, my voice calm but sharp. "Tell me how you've been lying to me for months. How you've been sneaking around with a married man. How you've treated our marriage like it's worthless." Tears welled in her eyes. "It's not what you think," she whispered. "Then what is it, Emily?" I pressed, my tone growing sharper. "Because it looks like you've been living a secret life." She broke down, sobbing, offering apologies that felt empty. I let her sit in her shame, let her feel the ruin she'd caused. When she finally looked at me, her face wet with tears, I struck again. "I've talked to Sarah," I said. Her eyes widened in panic. "You did what?" she gasped. "She knows everything, just like I do. You've broken 2 families, Emily. Congratulations." At that moment, a knock came at the door. Emily's head whipped toward it, fear and confusion carved into her expression. I opened the door to reveal Sarah, her face calm but her eyes blazing with anger. Behind her stood Daniel. Emily's face went pale. "What is this?" she whispered. "This," I said, "is the end." The confrontation was intense and unsparing. Sarah unleashed years of pent-up hurt on Daniel, who muttered weak excuses. Emily tried to speak, but Sarah turned on her with fierce precision. "Don't you dare justify this," she snapped. "You're selfish and deceitful." Her words cut deep, unfiltered. Daniel mumbled about feeling overlooked at home, but I shut him down. "Overlooked?" I scoffed. "You have 2 wonderful kids and a wife who'd do anything for you. And this is how you repay her?" By the end, the room was heavy with raw emotion, and Emily and Daniel looked like shadows of themselves. Sarah and I exchanged a look, a quiet acknowledgement of our shared resolve. The fallout was swift. Emily packed her belongings and left that night. I filed for divorce the next morning. Sarah did the same. Daniel lost his job after Sarah sent their employer the evidence. Emily's reputation unraveled as word of the affair spread through our social circle. They had no one to blame but themselves. For me, the journey was far from easy. There were nights I cried until I was drained. Mornings when getting out of bed felt impossible. But time dulled the rage, replacing it with a steady determination to rebuild. I started therapy, took up running, and reconnected with old friends. A year later, I feel lighter, happier than I've been in years. I've learned to cherish my own value, to demand honesty and respect from those around me. I heard Emily and Daniel's relationship crumbled under the weight of their guilt. Revenge may not be the purest motive, but sometimes it's the spark that ignites the strength to reclaim your life. And I've reclaimed mine.